On one side, Bugatti, a name that represents luxury, legacy, and absolute dominance in the hypercar world. On the other side, Koenigsegg, a silent engineering monster that doesn't talk much, but shocks the world every time it moves. And recently, something started in the car world that pulled everyone into a debate nobody expected. This isn't just about two brands anymore. It's about ego, innovation, and the future hypercars. Because what Bugatti started, Koenigsegg just responded to in a way that made the entire community stop and look again. But to understand this, we need to go back a little. For years, Bugatti has been the symbol of perfection. From the Veyron to the Chiron, Bugatti didn't just build fast cars, they built icons. Machines that combined extreme speed with luxury so refined that no other brand could really match that balance. When people think of Bugatti, they think of ultimate comfort at insane speeds. A car that feels more like a private jet on wheels than a machine built for racing. But then comes Koenigsegg, a company that operates differently. No unnecessary luxury focus. No traditional thinking. Just pure obsession with engineering limits. Every Koenigsegg feels like an experiment that somehow became a production car. Cars like the Jesko and Regera didn't just enter the hypercar world. They challenged it. They pushed boundaries that many thought were already maxed out. And this is where the tension starts building in the community. People begin comparing everything. Speed, acceleration, engineering philosophy, weight, aerodynamics. Every detail becomes part of a bigger argument. Some say Bugatti is still unmatched because of its balance. Others say Koenigsegg has already rewritten what a hypercar should be. And slowly, this comparison turns into a full-blown debate online. YouTube discussions, Instagram reels, forums, everywhere you look, the same argument appears again and again. Bugatti versus Koenigsegg. But what made things even more intense was not just the specs, it was a reaction. Because Koenigsegg didn't really respond with words. It responded with engineering. New performance data, new technological breakthroughs, and constant innovation started shifting the narrative. The community started feeling like Koenigsegg wasn't just participating in the hypercar world anymore. It was trying to redefine it completely. And this is where things start connecting with creators like Matt Armstrong, who show the real side of performance cars. Not just showroom perfection, but real-world rebuilding, testing, and understanding what these machines are actually capable of when pushed beyond factory conditions. That perspective makes a debate even more interesting, because it shows one simple truth. Real performance is not just numbers on paper. It's how a car behaves in reality. And in that reality, both Bugatti and Koenigsegg start showing very different strengths. Bugatti represents control perfection. Everything engineered for comfort, stability, and top-tier performance in a refined package. Koenigsegg represents experimental aggression, lightweight designs, extreme ideas, and pushing physics as far as possible. This is why the debate never settles. Because both brands are not just competing, they are representing two completely different philosophies of what a hypercar should be. And the audience plays a huge role in this. Social media fuels everything. Every clip, every comparison, every reaction video turns its rivalry into something bigger than just cars. Engagement grows, opinions divide, and the conversation never really ends. But here's the important part. This is not about one brand destroying the other. It's about evolution. Bugatti has shaped the past and present of hypercars with luxury and power combined in a way no one else did. Koenigsegg is shaping the future with innovation that constantly pushes boundaries. And when you look at it closely, both are essential. Because without competition, there is no progress. And that brings us to the real question. Not who is faster, not who is better, but who is defining the future of hypercars right now. Because what Bugatti started, Koenigsegg didn't just respond to. It changed the entire conversation. And now the final decision is not in the hands of engineers anymore. It's in the hands of the audience. What do you think? And when you really think about it, this is exactly why this rivalry keeps getting bigger every year. Because there's no clear ending to it. Every time one side feels like it has taken the lead, the other side comes back with something completely unexpected. Bugatti continues to refine its identity. It doesn't try to chase trends. Instead, it focuses on perfection, making sure every car feels like a finished masterpiece. Stability, comfort, and control power are still at the heart of everything they build. That's why Bugatti owners don't just buy speed, they buy an experience that feels complete from every angle. But Koenigsegg operates like it has no limits. Every new project feels like a question being asked of the entire automotive world. What if we try something no one has done before? And more often than not, they somehow manage to make it work. That mindset keeps them constantly in the spotlight, especially among enthusiasts who love innovation over tradition. And this is where the real divide happens in the community. One group values legacy. They believe Bugatti represents the peak of what engineering refinement can achieve when everything is balanced perfectly. For them, Bugatti is not just a car brand, it's history in motion. The other group values disruption. They see Koenigsegg as a brand that refuses to accept limitations. For them, it's not about comfort or tradition, it's about breaking every rule that exists in hypercar engineering. Neither side is fully wrong, and that's what keeps the debate alive. Because in reality, these cars are not built for the same purpose. They are built with completely different philosophies. But social media turns everything into a competition, and that's where the versus narrative becomes so powerful. Every acceleration clip, every top speed run, every technical breakdown, it all feeds into the same discussion again and again. And the more people engage, the bigger the story becomes. Even creators and reviewers add fuel to this fire. Not by making things up, but by showing different angles, track performance, road usability, engineering depth, and emotional connection. And every new video adds another layer to the debate. But if you step back from all the noise, one thing becomes clear. This rivalry is actually pushing the entire hypercar industry forward. Bugatti pushes refinement to its limits. Koenigsegg pushes innovation to its limits. And somewhere in between, the future of automotive engineering is being shaped. Without Bugatti, the world wouldn't understand what ultimate luxury speed balance looks like. Without Koenigsegg, the world wouldn't understand how far pure innovation can actually go. So instead of asking who is winning, maybe the better question is, what are we witnessing right now? Because this is not just a competition. It's an evolution happening in real time. And as new technologies, new designs, and new ideas keep emerging, one thing is certain. This story is far from over. And the next chapter might be even more unexpected than the last one. So now the question goes back to you. In this evolving world of hypercars, where tradition meets innovation, who do you think is truly shaping the future right now? And that question is exactly what keeps this entire discussion alive. Because every year, something new happens that shifts the balance again. A new Bugatti reveal brings back the conversation about luxury and raw speed balance. A new Koenigsegg innovation brings back the argument about engineering limits and futuristic design. And just when people think the debate is settling down, something else drops and resets everything again. That's why this isn't a normal rivalry. It's a continuous cycle. And the interesting part is how differently both brands approach silence. Bugatti doesn't need to constantly prove itself. Its name already carries decades of dominance. When Bugatti releases something new, it feels like a statement without needing explanation. Everything is polished, calculated, and refined. There is confidence in simplicity. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, thrives on surprise. It doesn't wait for approval. It builds, tests, and then shocks the world when the result is ready. It feels unpredictable, like there's always something hidden in development that no one outside the company knows about. And this contrast is exactly why people can't stop comparing them. One represents legacy. The other represents disruption. One represents control. The other represents experimentation. But here's what most people miss in this debate. Both approaches are necessary for progress. If every car manufacturer focused only on luxury, performance innovation would slow down. And if everyone focused only on extreme engineering, the cars might become impractical for real-world use. The balance between these two philosophies is what keeps the hypercar world alive. And that's why this Bugatti versus Koenigsegg conversation is not just entertainment for car fans. It's actually a reflection of how the automotive industry evolves. Even creators like Matt Armstrong add another layer to the story, because they show what happens when these machines leave the showroom and enter real life. Damaged, rebuilt, tested again. These cars prove that engineering is not just about numbers, but about durability, usability, and emotion. And when you combine all of this, performance, engineering, community reactions, and real-world rebuilding, you realize something important. This rivalry is not about winning. It's about pushing boundaries further than ever before. Bugatti pushes what luxury performance can be. Koenigsegg pushes what engineering imagination can achieve. And the audience fuel the entire cycle by debating, comparing, and sharing every detail. So maybe the real truth is this. There is no final winner in this story, because the moment one side feels ahead, the other side evolves again. And that's what makes this hypercar world so exciting to watch. It never ends. It only evolves. And the next breakthrough might already be in development right now, waiting to change everything once again. And that is exactly why the story still feels unfinished. Because when you look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear that Bugatti and Koenigsegg are not just reacting to each other. They are constantly shaping the direction of the entire hypercar world in real time. Every new generation of Bugatti feels like a reminder that perfection is still possible, that comfort, speed, and luxury can coexist without compromise. It shows that even in a world obsessed with innovation, refinement still matters. There is a reason why Bugatti continues to be spoken about with respect even after all these years. At the same time, every new Koenigsegg project feels like a challenge to that idea of limits. It asks uncomfortable questions. It removes traditional thinking. It experiments in ways that most manufacturers would never risk. And sometimes, those risks lead to breakthroughs that redefine what people believe a hypercar can actually be. And this is where the emotional side of the community comes in. Because for fans, this is not just technical comparison. It's passion. It's identity. Some people grow up admiring Bugatti's elegance and legacy. Others grow up inspired by Koenigsegg's fearless innovation. And both groups defend their perspective with real emotion, because these cars represent more than just machines. They represent vision. But what often gets lost in this debate is something very important. Progress in the automotive world has never come from one side alone. If Bugatti didn't exist, the idea of ultra-luxury speed machines would not be what it is today. And if Koenigsegg didn't exist, the limits of lightweight engineering, aerodynamics, and power efficiency would not have been pushed this far. They are not enemies in the traditional sense. They are two different answers to the same question: what is a perfect hypercar? And the truth is, that question might never have a single answer, because perfection changes with time. What feels perfect today might feel outdated tomorrow, and what feels extreme today might become the new normal in the future. That is the nature of evolution, and that is exactly what we are witnessing right now. A constant push and pull between tradition and innovation, between refinement and experimentation, between legacy and future. And in the middle of all of this, the audience plays the most powerful role. Every view, every comment, every debate, every comparison video, it all adds fuel to this ongoing story. Social media doesn't just report this rivalry. It amplifies it, shapes it, and sometimes even intensifies it. But if we strip everything away, the noise, the arguments, the fan wars, what we are left with is something much more meaningful. We are watching automotive history being written in real time, not through one company dominating everything, but through multiple visions competing, improving, and pushing each other forward. And maybe that is the real win here. Not Bugatti defeating Koenigsegg, not Koenigsegg replacing Bugatti, but both of them forcing the entire industry to become better than it was yesterday. So as this story continues to evolve, one thing is certain: there will always be another reveal, another innovation, another debate, another moment that makes the car world stop and react again. And when that happens, people will once again ask the same question: who is ahead now? But maybe the better way to look at it is this: it's not about who is ahead. It's about how far they are willing to push the future. And right now, Bugatti and Koenigsegg are not just participating in that future. They are building it. And if you take a step back and really think about it, this whole rivalry is bigger than just Bugatti and Koenigsegg. It has basically become a symbol of how the entire automotive world is changing. Because in the past, hypercars were mainly about one thing: top speed. Whoever went fastest was considered the king. But today, that definition has completely evolved. Now it's not just about how fast a car can go in a straight line. It's about how intelligently that speed is achieved. It's about aerodynamics, weight distribution, hybrid systems, downforce, stability, and real-world usability. And this is where both Bugatti and Koenigsegg shine in completely different ways. Bugatti represents the old-school perfection that still refuses to disappear. Even when it enters a modern hybrid era, it doesn't lose its identity. It still feels like a machine designed for people who want the absolute best of everything without compromise. Every detail is engineered for comfort and control at extreme speed. It's not chaotic, it's calculated. That's why Bugatti feels timeless. It doesn't chase trends, it defines its own standard. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, feels like the future that arrived early. It doesn't follow rules, it creates new ones. When you look at Koenigsegg's engineering philosophy, it almost feels like a science experiment that turned into a production car company. Everything is about efficiency, weight reduction, and maximizing performance from every possible angle. Even the smallest design choices often have deep technical reasoning behind them. And this difference is what keeps the debate alive forever. Because fans don't just compare numbers anymore. They compare philosophies. One side says, a hypercar should feel luxurious, stable, and refined at high speed. The other side says, a hypercar should push boundaries, even if it feels extreme or unconventional. And neither side is wrong. That's the interesting part. Because if you remove emotion from the discussion and look at facts, both brands have achieved things that once seemed impossible. Bugatti proved that you can combine extreme speed with limousine-level comfort. Koenigsegg proved that you can build lightweight hypercars that outperform physics expectations in certain areas. And when both of these ideas exist at the same time, competition naturally becomes intense. But what makes this era even more unique is the role of the internet. In earlier times, automotive rivalries were limited to magazines, shows, and official reviews. Today, everything is instant. A single spec release, a teaser, or even a rumor can spark global debate within minutes. YouTube breakdowns, reaction videos, shorts, edits, everything amplifies the conversation. And creators like Matt Armstrong add another dimension to this ecosystem. When people see real-world rebuilds, crashes, restorations, and testing, they begin to understand that these machines are not just theoretical performance figures. They are real, mechanical systems that behave differently in real environments. That adds emotional depth to the entire discussion. Because suddenly, it's not just about who is fast on paper, it's about how these cars survive, perform, and feel in reality. And as all of this continues, something important starts becoming clear. The hypercar world is no longer a one-direction race. It's a multidimensional competition where different philosophies coexist, collide, and influence each other constantly. Bugatti pushes the idea of perfection forward. Koenigsegg pushes the idea of innovation forward. And between them, the entire industry moves forward. And maybe that is the most important part of the story. Because without this rivalry, without this constant comparison, without this pressure to outperform each other, the hypercar world would not be evolving at this speed. Every breakthrough forces a response. Every new design forces a rethink. Every new record forces someone else to aim higher. And that cycle never really stops. So when people ask, who is winning, Bugatti or Koenigsegg? Maybe the answer is not as simple as choosing one name. Maybe the real answer is that the winner is the entire automotive world. Because we are the ones witnessing faster cars, smarter engineering, lighter materials, and more advanced technology every single year. And this is not the end of the story. Not even close. Because somewhere right now, behind closed doors, engineers are working on the next generation of ideas that will once again change the conversation. A new Bugatti project that might redefine luxury speed balance again. A new Koenigsegg concept that might push engineering even further than before. And when those moments arrive, the debate will start all over again. New comparisons, new arguments, new viral videos, new opinions. But the core question will remain the same. What is the true definition of a hypercar? And maybe the answer is simple. There isn't just one. There are many. And Bugatti and Koenigsegg are both proving that in their own completely different ways. And that is why this story will never really end.